right. Here we go.
Well, you know what? There are some things that always try to hold you back. Sometimes it's the college football committee, and we're going to talk about that. But sometimes it's cold and health and things of that nature. And I was not feeling good today, and I did not know what kind of energy I was going to have for this show. But man, I'm ready for it. We got a great one lined up for you today. Towards the end of the show, 9:15, Lamar Thomas. Yes, the dude from the Miami Hurricanes is going to come on and give us his hot take. What does he think about the committee and Florida State not getting in? At 8:45, we're going to be joined by Griff Redmill, the legendary offensive lineman guard, going to come in and break down some film with us. We got to hit the recap of the SEC championship. Talk about a little bit about Texas versus Washington. Uh, this committee, like I said, and why is Michigan even in the doggone thing? All right, so let's talk about that. So let's get the show started right now. All right, welcome to the live show of Teague's Take. Yes, big link in the chat. That's what I'm talking about because we about to get it on and popping in here on this episode of Teague's Take. Please don't forget to go ahead and hit the subscribe buttons on both the Bama Standard channel and Teague's Take. We're doing a lot of great things together. We appreciate everybody joining this simulcast between two great networks. I do want to say before we get going really quick about Tide and Texas because it's pretty exciting to me. Tide and Texas, y'all hear me talk about them. They build scholarships for the University of Alabama, non-athletic ones, and they're going to be hosting a virtual event with the Alabama gymnastics coach, Ashley Johnston, who I have met and is doing a great job. And this is going to happen on Monday, December the 18th at 4 p.m., right? It's a free deal. You need to come on out, get the information on the Tide and Texas website. And then one other thing I need to remind you about when it comes to this. The Tide and Texas, they're going to be having a raffle for some tickets to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Breaking news just came out. Tickets to the game. If you want to get there, you need to get you a pair of raffle tickets. The proceeds for the um, tickets that you get the raffle tickets for will help George Teague and Family Endowed Scholarship Fund and Tide in Texas. So check that out on the website. All right. I need to go ahead and bring in JT, the host, the producer, the analytical one, the coach, the daddy, the all everything that he is to be in today. JT, welcome to the show, man. I know you had a busy week. You're running the Christmas parties. You're trying to work.
I know,
Not so
man.
much football. So I don't know. How's life without the high school football for you right now?
Easier. Just less things to do, less to worry about.
Well, I know you miss it though. Just when you get it in your blood. Now you're in the off season mode. And you got to start planning what it's going to look like in January, February.
Yeah, I mean it's now trying to figure out what things you want to work on and what things you want to spend time on, right? And you find all these great resources, then you still get overwhelmed because it's like, oh, you got all these great resources to look at, but now I don't know what order I want to do it in. I don't know how much time I want to spend on DB technique and trying to figure out how to teach that more effectively versus um, maybe even looking ahead to scouting some repeat opponents and trying to figure out what we need to do to get a little bit better, or trying to figure out installs, all that kind of stuff. So it is December now. I did give myself a month to just not worry about it, but it's almost that time where we need to start getting ready for spring.
Well, one thing that makes our show better is when we have tremendous guests. And the first guest that we need to bring is someone that we've actually coached with. We know very well. He's been very generous with us in a lot of ways. But this guy has some pretty good opinions. He is a UT graduate, played offensive line there, played offensive tackle, played both sides. Won a national championship there, coached at JP2, coached at ESD, done a lot of stuff. Businessman, he can talk to you about all his ventures. Got a nice book out that people are going to want to buy. So, why don't we go ahead and welcome in Mr. Jonathan Scott to the show? What's up? That's all the cheering he's gonna get because he did well not giving me too much trash stuff after they beat us early in the year, but he did try to remind us of how our offensive line wasn't playing at the time. So, Jonathan, man, welcome in. Why don't you tell everybody what you're up to real fast before we start picking your brain about football?
Oh, Jonathan, you've got your mute button on.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Mhm.
What I'm working on, I would have to say, is just growth. Growth in business, growth in personal development, um, just getting better. Just getting better with time. So um, just been doing that, doing a campaign for my book. Right, you mentioned that right there, right?
Tell us about it. Tell us about it. How we
Yeah,
get it. What it's about.
yeah. So it's called The Winning Playbook. You can go to Amazon to purchase it, The Winning Playbook. Go to our website, thewinningplaybook.com. Um, but at the end of the day, the book is about financial empowerment as well as financial literacy. So just helping people. Initially, it was for just athletes, but I've expanded the audience to just everyone, to anyone and everyone. It's a book about personal stories, easy to read, able to take out all the fluff and just really help people to be able to be in the driver's seat with their financial goals and financial aspirations.
All
So
right.
check it out.
Okay.
And it was a number one seller on Amazon.
That's
Oh, all
That's
right.
right. I see
Yeah,
you
just
doing
a
good
little
things.
something. Yeah.
Well, we'll keep
So
doing
it's a
that. You
good book.
guys make sure you guys support him and go ahead and grab that book. Uh,
Yeah.
because he's done very, very well. And continues to teach others how to do that. So jump into that. All right. So I want to get into football because this first topic
Yeah.
I want to talk about, I know we could spend the whole show about it, and we're not going to do it, right?
Right.
Just because the amount of time I spent on Twitter and Instagram talking about this committee and who's supposed to be in and who wasn't and is it
Mm.
right that Bama's in or should Texas be three? And so there's so many different ways to go. But I want to go ahead and spend a few minutes on this to really get you guys input on this. So Jay Scott, because you're on
So,
this,
yeah.
did the committee get it right? Are there the right four teams in there in the right location, just from a 10,000 foot,
Yeah.
look?
No.
Did they get it right?
No, not at all. Rightfully so. Florida State won the ACC championship and did it convincingly. They're undefeated. The
Boo
thing
this
about
man. Where's the boo button,
I'm just
JT?
being
Where's the
100%
boo
honest.
button?
And guess what? And
Ah.
based off that, all I'm saying is that the problem is the infancy of the college playoff needs to be bigger. It needs to be expanded to like six teams, six teams. It's they're always going to get it wrong. They've gotten it wrong literally every year. So they need to change the mechanism, and then the only way you can do that is put more one more game in there. That's as simple as that.
You saying do that like right now though? Just go ahead and override and go ahead and throw in another game and
Yeah,
say break
just
it.
just go ahead and Florida State get out of their bowl game. Go ahead and put Florida State back in it. Let them play. And at the end of the day, if you think about it, normally your best six teams are usually the teams that should be in it, and it's always two or three that don't make the cut. Um, yeah, they just always got it wrong. You can check it out. I know Mike Leach had some comments about it. It was hilarious. They're
Mm.
talking about committees. Everybody wants a committee. People who have not played it or not done it has the right to say who should be the best of the best. No, it's the battle of the gridiron. No, it's your record. It's what you did on the field. and rightfully so. I mean, how many power teams do we have? At the end of the day, just make it real simple. Just make all the whoever wins the championship goes to the playoffs.
Like
Right?
back in the day? Or
Back
what
in
are
the
you
day.
talking about? Like back in the old. Yeah, I mean, you
Well,
rather go back to that where it's just you're looking at people are
well,
still voting on who's the best.
yeah, but that was a vote. This one you actually get to prove it because I know when I played, the only reason we were considered the number one team is because we beat the number one team, right? But
Oh,
if you could,
wait. Say that again. About
yeah,
someone beating the number one team? Are you not talking about Alabama and beating Georgia?
no, I'm
Does
going.
not play away?
No, well,
Did you just
yes, I
make
mean,
your
true. We
case
beat the
for
number
us?
one team. Yeah, it goes both ways. Yeah, it definitely goes both ways. I mean, that's just how it should be. You got your powerful conferences, and maybe have someone at large. Maybe they do a playoff, kind of like they do in the NBA, a playoff to get into the playoff, right? And it should be 6 teams. Simple as that. They got enough time. Um, why not?
They ain't
Right?
got
Why
no
not?
time now, man. They done already told the people where they're going. See, this is the deal, and I hear you. There's no right answer, so I'll go ahead and say this. I do think
Mm,
I don't even know that the best 4 teams are in there. Okay, honestly, I feel like Alabama's one of
mm.
the best 4 teams. I don't want to get into who's what is it? Who deserves it versus who's the best? Because I can't say that Georgia's not one of the best 4 teams
Mm-hmm.
when you look at it in this realm. But here's the deal, man. And this is where I'm saying this to you guys as high school coaches and all this stuff. I think this also reiterates a point of why people won't accept answers or decision by people, particularly kids, right? Because someone made a decision and we don't like it. It shouldn't be that way. Then we all got to go above. Think about how many times you've been told my kids should be playing because of this or whatever. No, the decision was made on what it is. The rules were laid out for the community this way. Find the best 4 teams. They chose them through their criteria, all the things that it had, and it didn't come out in the favor of
And
SB.
what is that criteria?
Man, there's a whole lot of things in there, right? It says to consider, not to necessarily go by strength of schedule if you want to do that. Florida State strength of schedule is nothing like Alabama's.
Mm.
What goes to the strength of record. With that, you gotta account for which is written in there. It might not have been in there two years ago, but it's written in there now about they can look at rosters. What is it going to look at? How's that look like? They're playing with a backup quarterback, a third string quarterback. They'll probably be playing with a second string quarterback. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know. I just think
I think committees need to get out of grown folks' business. It gets played on the field. Let you go at who's the best on Saturday, or they say best on Sunday playing NFL. Get out the way and let them play.
well,
And if
JT,
you want,
how do you make it work though, JT? How do you really make it work when you're not doing a best 2 out of 3 kind of deal? Everything is an invitational in my mind. March Madness, it's not a tournament. It's 68 teams or however many they put in there that are 64
yeah.
teams. 64 teams in there that are invited to come into this. Someone subjectively saying
They have
who
a
they
committee too.
are. They got a committee to, right? I don't know how it is in every sport, but there's a lot of this right here where you can't really truly find the top 4 teams if you're just going by a 1 game matchup. I don't know. What's your thought, JT?
I think that you could have a playoff if we stop pretending that 100 of these 130 teams actually belong to even playing in the same division. So we could do that. We could get rid of like the MAC, the American, the Sun Belt, CUSA.
AAC.
Yeah, all of those.
Right.
Like if
Right.
we can scrap those, they can have their own playoff or whatever. Um, it's just
Kind of like the NIL.
yeah, I
No,
mean,
NIT tournament. NIT.
yes,
Yeah.
the NIT or anything like that. They can. It's. I think it's already difficult. One that you got so many teams. You don't need that many. Most of these teams, and I've said it before on other shows, most of these teams actually don't even meet the criteria to be FBS teams anyway. They just NCAA just decides that they're not going to enforce those rules. Shout out to James Madison. They want to enforce those, but whatever. Miami of Ohio can keep being an FBS team, whatever. But anytime that you have this is the thing that really doesn't make sense to me, and I don't even know how it even got to be this way. That 10 years ago when this whole thing started, you had like legitimate Power 5.
Yep.
So you get the Power 5 in a room, and then they choose to have a 4-team playoff. Just right off the bat,
That's my point.
You're like,
there was somebody get left out.
Somebody's got to be sitting here is like, well, one of us is getting left out every year. Who's going to be? And then in a lot of cases, 2 of y'all are getting left out every year. Who is it going to be? Because the SEC is sitting there like, oh, I don't care. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do because it ain't going to be us.
JT, ask me this. Answer this to me. Why can't they do 6 teams? Is it because of like NCAA rules? Because of their
nope? It ain't because of that. Because the playoff is not even sanctioned by the NCAA. Like the NCAA literally has nothing to do with this. This is FBS gone off and said this is why like legitimately, and as much as we make fun of it, why UCF in 2017 has their name in the NCAA record books as national champions. Because the college football playoff is literally not sanctioned by the NCAA. This is just extra stuff that they do.
Damn committees. Damn committees.
Well, how much they make? Can I get on that doggone committee? How you get on that committee? Because I know they got some coaches and some ADs and some politicians and all that kind of stuff. And sports writers. So, I don't know. Maybe I need to look into that. I don't know that I want it anyway. But here's
the real crime. The real crime is that they had a reconvening, and 3 of the Power 5 conferences decided to have an alliance, and then that alliance voted against expansion of the playoff, which would have started this year, which would have already put it to 12 right now. So the real crime is that FSU is in a conference that voted against them expanding the playoff, which would have had them in regardless.
And why is no one talking about that though? Because those are. I've heard it a bazillion times now, but it's when people are sitting at tables making decisions and not really. I don't know why they would say that unless they just thought they were a shoe-in. Surely they wasn't thinking FSU at the time. Maybe they were thinking Clemson or somebody had to get in. I don't know, but.
I don't know. I don't know how you can be a group of 5 people and decide that you're going to exclude one. I mean, as Jay Scott said, if you do 6 and you just say the winner of all of our conferences get in, and then we'll just find the best of whoever else is
at large. That's what I mean.
And you throw them in there and you say, all right, then you get to just fight over who gets the buys, I guess.
Yeah, because you still gonna be fighting. Because then who you gonna put in? Georgia or Ohio State or?
I really think it makes it easy. You just who won each of the Power 5
or
conferences.
Oregon. Yeah, well, I'm talking about the at large. Now you got the second.
Oh no, the at large doesn't go. I would if I was on in that meeting, I'd say the at large doesn't go to a Power 5 school.
Power 5 or go somewhere you didn't outside win the conference. Of it.
It goes somebody else.
Yeah.
Or
so who would that be?
10 because there's 10 conferences, you could just put 10 teams in. And I know everybody's going to say, well, that's because
not good football.
Everybody, there's one conference that's super weak. Well, then, we're all Americans and we believe in capitalism and whatnot. Then let everybody move into the conferences will end up rearranging themselves. I promise you that. If there's one sorry conference, all the big teams will go in there. It'll end up evening itself out. We'll be fine.
All right.
That's why we're going to the SEC.
That's right. We'll talk about. Oh, that's another one I got to tweet about later. Okay, so let me move on because, like I said, I know we could talk about that because I want to ask Jay Scott too about how he feels about this. Them playing Washington and your comfort level. I don't think you can win. I think most of us around the country I shouldn't say around the country. In our area, I think Texas is going to win the game. You got some concerns one way or the other about UT being able to win this game? Uh-oh. Did he hit some buttons? So, because I wanted to ask him about. There you go. He back. if
You
he
got
can
us? Can
hear
you
us.
hear us?
Yeah, I
We
don't
see
know
him.
what.
No,
I
there we
don't
go.
know what
Okay.
happened. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just want to see if you had any concerns about the game, one way or another. You feeling good about it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's always concerns, as in know when you have a team that has a very good quarterback, there's a high percentage chance of winning. And you got to think Penix is legit, and not to mention Penix showed out on us last year and was at the Alamo Bowl. So I am concerned. However, I am confident that with our defensive interior line, that we're going to put pressure on him, get him in uncomfortable positions, so we can have chances to be successful and do things on the offense. Ewers can just be he can be able to make the big plays. Worthy can be able to do his thing. Sanders can do his thing, and I think they can come out with a victory. But they can't take it lightly. The back end on defense is definitely going to have is going to be a big game for them, but it's all going to be on the interior line and those edge rushers putting pressure on Penix and getting them uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, you're right. Anytime you got the X factor of a quarterback, I can agree with that. I just think you guys are going to be more physical than and more dominant the way you've been playing now. I don't
Yeah.
know. All the time we see a lot of good teams, but when they find someone who's built like this, and you guys have started to build yourselves that look like an SEC team, in my
Yeah.
opinion, big, physical. You just little. It's just different. Okay, type of
Right.
football. I don't really know if they're really ready for it.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
th-
Yeah.
that's me. Okay, JT, any quick comment about that for?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got two offenses that's kind of coming into their own. Washington probably can score. Any given Saturday, they can wake up and score 50 points. But their defense is sometimes a major liability. I think Texas' offense is the same. They can just blink of an eye and it's 42. They got 42 points already. So if a game like this could turn into a shootout, um, I'm gonna roll with my underthink instead of overthinking it is kind of just I'm taking quarterback and best defense. I think Texas has a better defense. I'm not going to say that Quinn Ewers is better than Michael Penix Jr., but the combination of quarterback and defense favors Texas. Those two things together favor Texas. They don't favor Washington. I would pick Texas to win this game.
Well, okay, and so you remind everybody at 8:45 we're going to have Griff Redmill come in to join this panel right here to talk about some plays. So make sure you guys stay put for that, and then at 9:15 or in about 45 minutes or so,
9:20 is when I set the bonus on our channel.
All right, there will be a bonus session with Lamar Thomas. He just texted me. He just wanted to make sure that JT that you get him the link if you have not already.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm gonna put y'all two on screen real quick and do that.
That's right. That's right. See, that's another one. I'm just so glad that he is a producer because I would not have been able to just pop off the screen like that and continue with the show. All right. So, by chance, Jay Scott, did you watch the SEC championship before I asked
I
you?
did. I did.
With us playing Georgia. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know you watched our game when we played against Texas earlier in the year. Did you see anything that noticeably different, particularly up front, offensive line, that you would say, okay, Bama did this and it still needs to work on this? Because you immediately afterwards you kind of said, hey man, they kind of struggled up there on the left side of your line.
Right.
What did you feel about this one when we played against Georgia?
I think they controlled the line of scrimmage and they gave the quarterback opportunities to have clean feet, right? And they just controlled the line of scrimmage. They were way more physical. They didn't second guess themselves when it came to their footwork, hand placement, things of that nature. It looked like they had a lot more confidence going into that game. And I just think they were just a more physical team. I mean, there was numerous times I saw the defensive line for Georgia. They were getting put 5 yards in their backfield. So I mean, and I know Griff can kind of attest to this as well. It's like when you have a physical offensive line, when you're physical, all the rest just falls into place, right? Everything falls into place. Um, Alabama is not the same team they were earlier this year. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And I know that you always give an open, honest deal with this. And I have to remind you guys that he did play in the league for quite a while. If you haven't seen one of his episodes where he was actually on here and he had some great stories about Ben Roethlisberger, go back in our archives
Yeah,
way
that's
back
his
when.
favorite.
Yeah, his favorite player. I think he wears his jersey.
I'll drop
He
it in
wears
the
his jersey
description.
like
I'll
that.
go find and drop it in the description.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember I did a podcast with some other friends of mine, and boy, oh man, everybody was hating me, talking about I'm trash and this, that, and the other. And the hate was coming on strong. And the crazy thing is, I didn't say anything bad about him. I said nothing bad about him. I'm like, man, y'all butthurt, ain't you? But you can't. I tell those folks, all those haters out there, you cannot dim my light, man. You can't do it. You can't do it. So.
Okay, so I want to get your take on this too. Then, just because you were sitting here talking about rules and what kind of stuff happens, and JT kind of hit on the difference between the committee and NCAA itself. Why are we not even concerned about the cheating that Michigan came up with stealing signals and plays? And it's kind of out there. We know that it happened. Is that not a disqualifying type of offense to say you can't go? I know us when we're coaching in high school. If you do something like that, they can say, "Man, you can't go to postseason." Seems like he's getting away with this. Is that too much of it to think about at that level? You got a team that's stealing signals, videotaping it, right? Not just sitting in there like we might do as a coach and try to figure out what they're doing because they're not hiding their hands. They're videotaping this stuff. Should they be allowed in the doggone playoffs or not, J. Scott?
I have to put on my attorney hat. I don't know the extent of what they did egregiously. I just heard the noise. But when they're doing it to get an advantage, financial advantage over, other universities who may not have the funds to be able to go into the extent of diving in and finding out the play calls and all that stuff. I think that is unfair, and shoot, they ought to be kicked out. But the grace that I do give them is that, is it the players' fault or is that the coach's fault? Right? The coaches definitely need to be reprimanded because as somebody, and I would think the head coach, okayed that. Right? Somebody's got to fall on that sword. Now, again, should it fall on the players? I don't think so. But coaching staff, administration, yeah, got to slice some throats.
Well, they gave the head coach a 3-game suspension, so he did sit some time.
Well,
but still,
I want to add a little asterisk. It was a 3-game suspension because that's how many games they had left. And once again, the playoff and bowl games are not sanctioned by the NCAA. So the NCAA has no power to tell Jim Harbaugh that he can't coach in a playoff game.
That was an attorney workaround right there. That's what that was.
But don't they have to change though? Who enforces recruiting violations? Who's the one that says you can't get the scholarships or the whatever? Doesn't the NCAA do that, or is that some other outside body?
The NCAA does do that, but they do that with this. This is why they vacate games, right? they can vacate games and they hold over that you can't participate in NCAA sanctioned events, which would be the regular season, I guess. If the Power 4 conferences decided, don't give a damn what the NCAA says, we're going to do our own thing, the NCAA would just kind of have to bend the knee and kiss the ring on that one.
Well, anyway.
It's cheating. There ain't no question about that. It's cheating.
No, they're cheated, and I'm just saying, so everyone's making up all the excuses and the reasons. So there's always seems to be something. Everyone's picking on one word, and Alabama shouldn't be in it because whatever. the thing is that the SEC is paying them off, or whatever you want to think. Florida State should be in because they're 13-0. Michigan's cheating. The only one we hadn't really heard anything about is Washington. It seemed like they're just sitting there letting the rest of us fight with each other about whether or not we're supposed to be in. So my thought is I hope Texas go ahead and puts it on Washington because I felt like they should have lost already. And I also am going to be rooting for Georgia to dog walk Florida State so we can just show that they weren't supposed to be in. But Florida State can prove us wrong and go ahead and beat Georgia. And, I'm already hearing excuses. I got that. Oh, well, it's a bowl game. It don't even matter. We can't play for the national championship. See, now the Florida State already giving the reasons on why they ain't going to play hard. And when they lose, it didn't matter, that kind of thing. So, anyway.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say, I know in the comments, I think it was Kelly Weatherby. I was referencing 2005 season when there wasn't a college playoff. We were the number 2 team according to the AP poll, and we beat USC, which was number 1. So that's what I was referencing. So just so you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
So just a quick call out. The guests can see the Teague's Take chat directly in our little video platform here. Otherwise, they see what I put on the screen. So if you are trying to get something past me directly to our guest eyes, you need to be in the Teague's Take chat.
That's right. Okay. All right. Is Griff in the weight room waiting on us? Because we do need to try to get to some film. I can't see the back end.
Oh yeah, Griff is here. Griff is here. I can go ahead and bring him in. He's here. Here he is.
Yes, sir. Look at Mr. Griff. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show, my man. Welcome back.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're doing great. So yeah, we want. I know you've been hearing all this. We're going to get your takes maybe during the show, during the film breakdown a little bit, but we got to get to these plays because we do have 3 plays that we want to talk about with the crew. And so we hope everybody sits tight and stays right where they're at because I want to use these guys to give us some little bit of expertise on what we're looking at here on the screen here. So as JT always says, if you're listening to this on the what do you say?
On your the recorded version. If you are currently in the car, at the gym, library, maybe getting your teeth clean like I was today, and you got your AirPods in, and you're listening to this on your phone, put your phone down, open the YouTube app, find us at Teague's Take on YouTube so you can catch and see what we're about to do here with the film session with 2 great offensive linemen breaking down some run plays from the SEC championship game. Otherwise, if you don't feel like doing that, find you another podcast. This one's over. See you next time.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's continue.
Okay, so this first play that I chose, I wanted to be able to talk about because we've been talking about a lot of eye candy and all that. And that's really not this about. Everybody's running motions, trying to get keys and this kind of stuff. Right here, you get the motion, but they actually run a zone, right? An inside zone play to the right. And so I wanted to hear from Jay Scott and Griff about this offensive line play and how difficult this is when you're moving laterally or sideways. I know you're climbing up a little bit, but if a line stunts the same way that you're moving. So I want to start with Griff first so you can see, particularly down here at the bottom. That guy, I don't know what number he is.
Looks like 13.
Yeah, he knifes in there hard, man, and you're trying to step in there to get him. What do you do right here? We'll get to Griff and then we'll go to Jay Scott and see what he thinks.
Well, yeah, when I was at Bama, we ran a lot of these zone techniques, and what you got here is you got the guard and tackle running basically we call it a scoop block, and when they're working these zone techniques, they're trying to stay hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder. You're moving laterally then vertically, and so based on the way the defensive tackle plays it, one guy's going to try to work up to the second level, one guy's going to take over the down man. But when you got a slant like this in the direction of the play, it kind of breaks all that down. It gives him an opportunity to split that combination block, like you see him right here. And this is always the toughest for the guy backside. This tackle Proctor here, you see, this is a tough block for him anyway if they're playing it straight up. If he's 2-gapping it or whatever. But when they got a predetermined slant like this, it gives that guy an opportunity just to get ahead of that scoop block right there. And, if we don't pull this, we're in trouble. He's got to tackle for a loss right here.
Okay, and so Jay Scott, when you're looking at this, if you run it back to what he's saying to, do you get any kind of indication? You can elaborate on that a little more, but do you get any kind of indication based upon the way the box looks? It's not your normal.
Yeah. So, hey JT, by any chance, do you have the end zone clip? Yeah, is that it? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so right here, one of the things you just kind of got to recognize when you got this 5-man surface, and when I say 5-man surface, you got the interior guard, center, tackle. Is that no, that's a different play. Is that it? Yeah.
No, this is it. You got an extra tight end over here.
Gotcha. Hold on, I'm just making sure because So a lot of times when you got this front here, when you got the center, left guard and right guard covered, it's a 5-man surface, right? And a lot of people will call it a bear front, but I would kind of put a nuance to say it's more a wolf. I call it a cub front, which is that 5-man surface and one linebacker, whereas a bear front will be that 5-man surface and a second linebacker. Well, since they don't have that, what happened is that, based off of the film that they get, you kind of got to figure out what's your most threat. And your biggest threat is the person that's right over the left guard. Why is that? Is because the left tackle, you're putting them in a tough bind. That's tough. That's a tough block to make, right? So one of the things you kind of got to do is it's like you kind of got to die on your sword and say, you know what, center, right guard, right tackle, you're solo dolo, right? The right guard does an exceptional job of getting his second step in the ground uber fast, right? If you let that play, like you'll notice, watch his left foot, man, it gets in the ground real quick. So therefore, if the guy does slant, not a problem, right? Center, reach that nose, great job. The left guard, I think they may have got lost on who they were working to. And I think the left guard just kind of overstepped it, and therefore it put the left tackle in a tough situation. So the best thing you kind of got to do as a left guard is just leave a little meat on the bone so you can help you tackle out, and like with the tight end going up to the linebacker, man, that's perfect. And now you put that defensive end in a sticky situation. All right, do I stop the run or do I stop number 4? Yeah, he can't win. So I think it's one of those things that, the quarterback did his read perfectly. He saw that end. He was slanting down too hard. He trusted in his ability, got after it, and of course, put them in a winning position to be, third and short. So, like they were, I didn't understand why Georgia would do a bear front or a cub front, but not have another linebacker in there.
Yeah,
like,
which
doesn't make sense.
is
It's football, man.
It's abnormal for them anyway.
It's football, and this is what I teach people who don't really understand the X's and O's. Just count how many people are in the box on Alabama side. they got 6 big bodies, including the tight end, and then they got a running back and a quarterback. They don't have enough people to defend. Like,
man, JT sound like he been listening to our shows talking about this number game, because this is what we talk about all the time.
We had a video on our channel. It was a breakdown, and it was a QB read, I think. And what I named it with the title, and I put it on the thumbnail, was "Can you count to 4?" And the DB could not count to 4. They left the dude open and gave up 6 points.
Because they got a 5-man they got a 5-man shell in 2x2. Like, everybody's covered.
Oh, we got 7 of them.
And
so okay.
I don't know.
Hold on. I want to get to the next piece because I want to ask JT about this with the exit of the quarterback. right? I know he's super fast, right? But this probably doesn't work with someone that's not like Jalen Milrow, right? I mean, because if you let the play run, he ran lateral like
Yeah,
forever.
I'll go back to the other. Yeah, this one
Mm-hmm.
I 100% agree. If this is not Jalen Milrow, he ain't getting to the outside. This is just
Mm-hmm.
speed.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and that's what I kind of saw. I was like, man, because your exit angle typically by the quarterback is more vertical,
Yeah, he's you're
even if
trying
the
to get
guy's there.
right here, and Jalen's path is out this way. If you don't have that track speed, I'll call it, as fast as Milrow is, that this is quite literally my guy is better than your guy, so we get away with stuff like this.
Yeah,
Right.
because the safeties are hanging back. I mean, they're way back there. There's not
Way
an
back
extra.
there.
There's not an extra force guy to
And
turn
I
it back
want to
in.
see, is this the play? No, this isn't the play because I think it's 22. We'll it's on here because I looked at it. The safety should have made the play, and he just trips and falls over.
Yeah, I saw that.
He
Yeah.
just
He didn't
he
want
just
that
ate it.
smoke.
He got the
Yeah.
turf monster. He just ate it, and I was like, yeah, that shouldn't go for 8, but it does. So we'll get
Yeah.
there.
Okay, all right. So let's get to the next cut. All right. So they actually, let me see what we got. Well, this is a pass, correct? I
Mhm.
believe. All right. So I wanted to be able to talk. You guys talk to me about pass protection, right? I don't know the term like kick side, power down, all this other kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
So just let this one play first before you guys coach, because I want you guys to see the pocket that they.
Well, I do have to throw in my pauses in here because YouTube is gonna ding us if I just let the play run.
Okay, that's fine. So what I really want you guys to be able to see is how there's so much time. Like he said it earlier, there's no one around his feet. There's a lot of stuff, but I wanted to. I need for. I want to go back to Griff again to talk to me about the left side and the tackle when you actually got someone helping you versus when you don't. How much does your technique have to change because Proctor has to help and he's just kind of sitting there. What happens? What I mean, what goes through your mind? Is that good or great or I don't know. Help us understand first, though. Understand what's going on up front here.
Well, George, the last time I was on here, we were talking about this. And it was a much different picture on that left side than it was last Saturday. I mean, totally different. The kid, I can't say much about how much progress he's made. I can't say enough about how much progress he's made this year. And I think one thing I said last time was patience, not panic. When you're taking your pass set, and early in the season, he was prone to try to jump defenders, and he was getting beat with these speed inside moves and counter moves, and it was just a total disaster every other play. And teams were really teeing off on that. And he's improved so much on his technique and being patient. And here they're chipping. It's something that we should have done and did some early in the season, but quite honestly, I didn't think our tight ends did a very good job early in the season doing it. I mean, they were, they were calling it that way and calling the protection that way, but they weren't getting anything on the defender. They're worried about getting out in their route. And here they do a pretty good job on it. And you can see, when you're talking about pass protection, and you got a guy that struggled with speed, struggled with counters, all he needs is a half a second extra. And I mean, and you just see the difference in how the play unfolds after getting a piece of that defender. He's not panicked. He's patient, lets it come to him. And then once that guy gets his hands on you, it's lights out. I mean, he's going to lock you down. And, where he struggled is when he gets on the defender too quick or the defender gets on him too quick. And, being the size that he is, it doesn't matter how good of an athlete you are. If you're 6'7", 360, and you're out over your toes too much, man, you got gravity, inertia, barometric pressure, all God's things. You can see him here playing with patience and balance, and it's like a different looking player at this point in the season.
So, would you call this type of protection? If if there was a term or something, can you tell by was this a I don't know what you call it, full slide. I'm just trying to say because it seemed like the top side turned right, or maybe they did. Maybe this is straight back and just going big on big. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's big on big out here. I don't know what Jay Scott thinks, but
no, it's it's a 6-man protection briefly, right? And what it is that the tight end shows block. Usually that gives us an indication if there's going to be a trigger. There's not. So when it's not, the tight end's told get in the route, right? There's no point in you blocking because we got them covered. So it's technically a 5-man protection, bigs on bigs, with a little bit of help with the tight end, but then he can go into a route if no linebacker comes blitzing or green dogs. But man, that's butter. Clean feet.
Okay.
All right, because you still got them two spies that they're worried about, right? They're trying to make sure that Milroy ain't gonna go nowhere. So that threat is pass pro in itself, is it not?
Yeah, it is, and it defines where the player is, right? Especially for, especially like in the NFL, man, these boys, they come flying. And so you can be able to keep your eyes on the line. You see that middle linebacker, he's just spying and just staring right at the quarterback. So therefore, in a situation like you were talking about, T, this is just perfect. This is a perfect moment there, like a kill shot can come in, right? Just like how, a tackle is blocking the DN and the guard is uncovered and he looks for somebody and bow and just knocks him out. That's potentially could have happened. But I love the way that the left tackle was patient and just let it come to him. Because if the tight end would have stayed blocked, it would have been a kill shot for the tackle to try to knock his head off. But, still good clean feet.
So, Griff, can you talk to us about the left guard a little bit? I know you played on the inside a little bit too. So, when someone's trying to bull you like this and you got to anchor down there, what are you trying to do with your butt, your feet, your hands? I don't know.
Well, you got to win with your hands. It doesn't matter what they're doing, and Booker does as good a job as anybody in the country. It also helps if you're 352 like Booker did. If you're light in the pants, bull rush can be pretty tough to deal with. But he's a big, solid dude. He does a great job keeping a wide base and dropping his hips. I mean, he bends really well for a big guy, and he does a really good job neutralizing the bull rush. Both our guards really do. But Booker's done it, solid for 2 seasons now. He's a true sophomore, and he does it as well as anybody. So you can see him hands. He gets outside initially, but works his hands back inside quickly, keeps his base, keeps the guy in front of him, and just locks him down. You got to anchor him down. And, you can give a little bit. You can see him take a couple little baby steps back. That don't matter, what you're trying to avoid is getting pushed into the quarterback.
Go ahead, Jay Scott.
No, it's just like you're saying, you're taking on that bull rush, get into the bull hop real quick. I'd rather you lose 1 yard than lose 6 yards trying to one-step it and get thrown into the quarterback's lap. So, no, that's good pro. Ain't nothing else to say, but that's good pro. Yeah.
All right, so 2 last things, and it's really on the defense. Do you think that guy was getting ready to run a twist, or did he just not want any part of Robertson at the top, the other defensive tackle? Looked like he was fun to go around. If you look at him, the guy, he's in one technique, I guess he is. No, yeah. Then you see him, he starts to go right, like he's trying to escape, but I don't know. Maybe that wall was just too big in there. He's like, man, how do I get around this?
It's the latter. He ain't had nowhere to go. He was just looking for an opening. He was just working hard.
It's like the Iron Curtain right there. There's no gate. So
it wouldn't happen. He was not allowed in the club.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hey, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here. Okay, so JT, what about this last little piece, the pass? So his feet were clean. He had a lot of time. What do you think happened? The ball slipped? We just excited? I mean, it don't seem like his typical throw. Or is it just that far?
Okay, so that's what I was looking at. Range. He's standing at the 25-yard line. And he throws it, and the ball lands on the 15. That's far. That's
okay.
That's
far. So I didn't want to be critical then on that because of it. And I'm hearing you, okay, and I'm with you. But did that mean he threw the ball way too late? Because he is way past the dude.
Yes.
And he's at the 30 now, and he's already passing. So why would you think he would be I mean, it's man to man, looks like, right? So, what do you think the hesitation might be to wait so long that where he had to throw it that far?
Okay, well, here's my this is my criticism of Jalen Milroe. I don't know if Jalen's at a point where he is throwing guys open yet. He is waiting for people to be open, then he throws the ball. And he's been fortunate that he's got guys like Isaiah Bond and Jermaine Burton that when he throws the ball, those guys are already behind the defense, not passing the defense. You know, as we've said before on the show, we tell DBs all the time, if he's even, he's leaving. And that's when the ball needs to come out, is when the receiver and the DB are on the same plane. They're even with each other running down the field. That's when the ball's got to go. And I think Jalen Milroe is kind of waiting until he gets a step, then he throws. But he's got such a big arm. I think that's I don't want to use the word bailing him out, but I think that's kind of what's going on here is that he's like, man, I can get this ball to the 15. At this point right now, you know, Jermaine Burton is 15 yards away from the splashdown. But yeah, the ball's late. I think Jermaine Burton probably could have done, as far as like catching in his stride, I think he probably could have done a little bit better because he stops. He's kind of like fielding a punt here. He stops, and then he realizes that the ball is actually going to go 5 extra yards, and then they pick up a pass interference, which I know you asked me about that in the text message about underthrown balls and pass interference on defenders.
Yeah, I want to hear everybody's take on that. Is this really a good rule like this when you're beat? Should it be on the defensive back now to be able to say, hey, I got to stop to not run into this dude, turn around, look at the ball? I mean, I really just, how do you guys really get that? I'm not saying, I understand the rule. I had to play with it too. It's just now it's almost like you can underthrow the ball on purpose. And guys just have to run back into you, especially if you're beat. So how do y'all feel about this rule? Just in general, can it be exploited too easily? I'm not talking about this play because I don't think that's what happened, but it seems like it happens a lot. They're just telling quarterback, just throw the ball up, man. And if it's a little bit short, wide receiver, you act like you're getting hit a little bit, jump up, reach over his back, and you're going to get a penalty. Griff, what do you think?
I think you see teams scheming for a penalty a lot today. I mean, you've seen it more and more the last 3 or 4 years. When it comes down to critical point in the game, critical conversion into the game, and you can tell that this isn't a design play to get a score or get a first down. This is to get a penalty. And when people start scheming to that end, I think the rule needs to be looked at. That's just my opinion of it.
Okay,
Lamar's in the chat. We need to talk about this because he's a receiver now, and he's saying he hates the back shoulder throw. We're going to have to talk about this one in about 10 minutes. I want to hear about this.
Right. Yeah, sit tight because Lamar Thomas is coming in. He'll give us his take on this. And I think his take is a little bit different than Jonathan's on whether or not FSU should be in or not. But maybe that's because he played for Miami. I don't know. We'll see what he has to say. Anyways, so Jay Scott, what do you think about this deal? You up front guy, you run downfield dealing with PI, but what do you think about these rules? You're on the committee now. You're on the rules committee. Is this
you're on the competition committee?
I kind of echo what Griff is saying. I think this ball is designed to be underthrown to get that penalty. I don't like it. It slows down the game. I mean, and then on top of that, just to be fair, it's like, what can you really ask the DB to do in that situation, right? Like, he's going for the ball, and then all of a sudden the receiver stops and then does a little act job and act like he can't get to the ball, and then next thing you know, there's a flag. I think it's like, I don't have a solution, but I just know that ball is you can't really put that on the DB. He's just trying to make a play just like anybody else. So.
And you know where it hurts you the most, people? It's not at the collegiate level because that's 15 yards, but in the league, that is a 60-yard
That's a spot
penalty.
foul.
Yeah, that's a spot foul.
So I will say this. I do think that I look, and it's hard to legislate because I think that what you really have to tell the DB is don't get beat in the first place. If you getting beat and all you see is, I'm gonna run it back just a little bit. At this point, if all you see is ass cheeks and football cleats, you should go ahead and expect to either take a pass interference or give up a touchdown. But this particular play, I thought this was look, and I know the Bama Standard is gonna call me a hater or whatever. This particular one, I think this is a bad PI call. He turns around, he's looking for the ball. He's not even playing the receiver. He's just as lost as Jermaine Burton is, and he's looking back for the ball. I thought this during the game, I was all for it. Whatever, pass interference, give us 15 yards, let's go. But this particular instance, I don't think you can ask the DB to do any more than he did because he did recognize Jermaine Burton is trying to turn around and find the ball, and so did he. He looked back and found the ball.
No, I get you. Yeah. The one thing that we're good about now, we're going to pat ourselves in the back, is that we can be unbiased here a little bit. We're good analysts to be able to do this. Okay, we got one more play we need to hit in the next couple minutes here, right? So, first of all, they started in the quad set. I don't know if everybody saw that, which we like to do unbalanced.
Yeah, so I'll go back. Quad set. We got it. This is one of my favorite things to do, right? You got we have to talk about this because people ain't gonna be paying attention. The casuals. Quad obviously means 4, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers. But just in case you weren't playing the game at home, that guy right there is not eligible.
Did not go out.
He is, but that guy is eligible. He doesn't have an eligible number on, but if he did,
NFL.
Yep, just check in. Just check in. That guy can go out for a route, so you got to be careful. You always got to be careful.
That's right. So they ended up shifting out of it or whatnot. And this is late in the game. I think there's 2 minutes late, 2:50, I think it was, on the clock left. And this is like the nail in the coffin to me. I know it wasn't over, but when I saw this, I was like, it was another creative run for Jalen Monroe that they hadn't really showed all year long. I was like, they kept this in the back pocket for the right time. So I call it a QB trap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's one puller. So this is what I need for you guys to talk to me about how you pull and how you're hunting up for folks. So if JT can kind of draw it up, everybody's blocking back except for the guard and
so
the tight end because he kicks out.
I'll put the lines on the screen so that we can have a conversation about it before we run the play. So, who's pulling here? The guard's pulling or the tackle? I've already
right guard.
Right guard's going to pull around.
Yeah. Right,
this guy's kicking out.
No, he blocks down.
He's blocking
down. It's the other guy. My bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's
else
right.
blocks back.
So we got
Tight end block down.
Down.
Out. He's going to hinge.
Yep.
There you go. And then you got this guy coming in motion out this way.
Okay. So you watch that. And what I want to know is how you guys get this vision here. I know when I've always heard the things, hey, get into the line, pull, hit with the right shoulders and all this. But when you're running around on a speed guy, I want to know what you guys are thinking about with this guard first. Kind of educate us on this part. So you can clear it, and then you guys watch the right guard since he's pulling around, trying to find someone to hit. What's he thinking after JT hits the play button?
Oh, my bad. Responding to comments. Here we go.
Okay. So there's a motion. Here comes the guard coming around. He is looking to hunt up this linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's in space. So what are you thinking? Like right about now, what that has to be something hard and fearful that you're trying to figure out how you're going to block this dude.
Well, I can tell you this from my experience. The way they coached us on this, is when you make that turn right there, you're hitting the hole like you're the running back with the ball. So you're coming up in there, hard. And it's real easy when we're sitting here looking at this sky cam footage to kind of see where this is going. But when you're that backside guard, you're lining up. It's like you're standing on one side of the Grand Canyon and looking over to the other side, trying to figure out what's happening over there. So, he's probably coached to turn it up in there and hit the first thing that crosses his face. And, that may be somebody playing up like this in his backer position, or it may be a safety that's another 8 yards back. So you don't know. You just got to be ready. They may be right there on you when you make that turn, or you may have to get upfield and find somebody, just depending on the alignment and how it shakes out. But you can see right here, and this is kind of how it goes a lot of times on these
There
plays.
he is.
It's hard to get
Right.
a big guy looking for a little guy. It's hard to get a really good hit on him. But really, all you got to do is just get a little bit of hesitation, a little distraction, and that's what he does right here. And it's just enough.
That's good. So, but the rules now are different, right? Because you used to could throw at the guy, right? Here, I don't know if it was ever a good technique or not, but anybody know if the rules say that he could actually cut this guy?
No, you can't cut. No, neither one of these dudes can cut either one of these dudes anymore.
Right.
He's in the box though. I thought if he's in the tackle box,
Point of attack. It's got to be.
Oh,
it's got to be like right there off the right off the line of scrimmage. But no, they're very close to just telling you can't cut at all. Period.
All right.
Which means I'm totally out of this play because I would have totally cut that guy.
Right. Yeah, because I know I was taught throw.
Yeah. So, what any other pieces you want to add to that about this puller, J. Scott, before we start asking you about these other guys blocking down?
The biggest thing is that one thing that I would say is you want to be a surprise to that guy. So tight around that double team, and you got to have trust in your running back, or in this case, your quarterback, to just make him, the defender, wrong. And so you gotta just trust that your running back's going to kind of go outside and cut back inside, and he's going to run right into you. So those are the finesse plays. But since that's the quarterback, he's not running up in there because they're not going to risk getting him hurt. But in that kind of situation, just don't stop. Just run and trust your running back is going to bring the block to you. That's the best you can do. And then at the end of the day, I've said this so many times. It's football math. All we need is 4 yards, right? And we keep getting 4 yards, we're going to get first downs. That's it.
Yeah. So I'm laughing at JT because he keep highlighting this dude that jump under the turf.
He did not. That turf monster got him.
Oh God.
Well, if you remember,
they could do better on this play, and not doing this would be one thing they could do better.
Well, if you remember when that guy tried to hit Jalen Milroe in the Auburn game at the yard line, that DB ended up walking off the field because he ran into a tank. And Jalen Milroe ended up finishing. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to play against this dude and try to tackle him in the open field either. So.
Yeah, these SEC quarterbacks are big, especially that quarterback from Tennessee. Jesus.
Nah, this dude right here.
No, he's big. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, no, Jalen Milroe is massive. But I'm just
okay.
Because where the guy is supposed to help is the guy that is on the 30-yard line about to fall on his face. If he comes and he feels this like he's supposed to, and I'm sure Kirby is beside himself looking at this, he hits Jalen Milroe right in the chest, just like they've been hitting Jaden Daniels all year, but he fell over.
Yeah.
All right.
First down. He didn't want this smoke.
Well, okay. Well, we're gonna have to let you guys go because we got another big one waiting in. We need to hear what he's talking about. Y'all make sure y'all listen in too, because I know Jay Scott, you might want to get in the chat and tell Lamar Thomas why he's wrong about his take here as well. Griff, Jonathan, as always, we appreciate you guys for spending a little bit of time with Teague's Take, breaking this down, giving the people the real stories about how we play up front, because all we know is block somebody. I'm so tired of hearing that. Block somebody. It's a little bit more difficult than that, than just blocking somebody, because you can block the wrong people.
Right,
so we do appreciate you guys. We're going to let you guys go so that we can chop it up with Lamar Thomas from the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, so just for everybody that's in the Bama Standard chat right now, we will be ending here on the Bama Standard this we're going to our bonus episode on Teague's Take. So the quickest way you can get there once we hit stop on this stream is to go to live.teagstake.com. It'll drop you right in there so you can catch the conversation with Lamar Thomas.
All right. See y'all in a minute. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Deuces.